In 2017, Sunflower Electric Co-op is trying to build a transmission line, electric transmission line. They send a letter saying that we're going to build this transmission line and here's your conservation easement. Be a good American and sign it. This is very relevant for every person in Oklahoma who has or has not signed an easement. They kept telling him, well, we're probably not going to build on your property. We just want an easement on your property as a safeguard. But he read the easement and there's some things in there extremely troubling, like domain easement, which means, yes, we're going to control 100% of what you own if you sign this easement for us. Your easement might only be 100 feet, but we now control the entire parcel. But when they kept telling him that we're probably not going to build, but we just want an easement on your property as a safeguard, he's like, that doesn't make any sense. They're not going to pay me to do nothing. There's something behind this, because when you get an easement, you get paid. And people sign easements and say, well, I need the money. My neighbor's going to take the money. I got to have this. So he went to the courthouse and he found a couple of his neighbors that had signed the easements, that he knew had signed it. And he found out that the easement company, unbeknownst to the people who signed the easement, had used their property for mortgages. And he determined that in these two counties alone, he found $500 million of loans that had been acquired by the developer, Sunflower Electric, using the easement as collateral. Then he goes to these two landowners whose property he had pulled up. And he said, did you guys know that they're using your land, your easement, as collateral for their project? They had no idea. Nor did the bank who has a mortgage on this property know that the developer for the easement had actually used this, and it happened to be a Missouri bank. It caused me to wonder how many people who've actually signed an easement, whether it be for wind or wildlife or swamp or whatever easement you have signed, do you know if your property has been leveraged and used as collateral in somebody's loan? And if that loan goes bad, what happens?
They take your property.
That's exactly right. So let's just do a scenario, because every day I'm banging the drum that we need to end the tax credits, right? Yes. The tax credits are the problem. So what I now clearly see is that they get a tax credit once the project is complete, but they have to finance the project. So how do they finance the project? Always when they're signing an easement, they're accelerating. We got to do this now. We got to keep this moving. Well, now I know that they're using these easements to go to a bank, secure lending, they secure the money using your property to do it, to buy the products, to construct it, and then they use the tax credits to get the windfall. That's what they're really shooting for, is the tax credits. That's when they pull the slot machine, boom, here it all comes. If we stop the tax credit, what happens to that landowner that has received money, has had their land tied up in a mortgage, and now the developer who signed that, by the way, they also have in every one of those easements a clause that says we reserve the right to sell our easement to whoever we want. Every one of them I've seen has that clause. If this goes south, you see the biggest land grab that you've ever seen. You're going to lose land, completely lose your property. Because in most cases, these easements are signed for perpetuity. In some cases, you have some state laws that say, well, we better not go over 100 years. So let's make them 99 years. What's 99 years? If you got an easement for 20 years, what's that mean for the next generation? This, to me, is the biggest discovery that I have found in the land grab in my career of 25 years. It's in the easement for the CO2 pipeline in South Dakota that they reserve the right to use this easement for a mortgage. But I don't think people read the fine print. Nobody reads the fine print. I don't think they have an attorney. They just see, I'm going to get paid $17,250, whatever the case may be. And they need the money because what else are we doing? We're raising property tax and property evaluations to the point where you got to continue to find money to pay the property taxes because we claim we own it, but yet we pay a mortgage. And then after we pay a mortgage, we pay rent to government to use what we think we own.